Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful Saturday today, a great learning day, 4th February 2023. This is the first subject that we are talking on video analytics in this year. As we have seen the fantastic budget presented by our finance minister and all attention of the global, looking at India as one of the strongest economy country and the growth country. In the last 2-3 years, you could see phenomenal growth in startup companies. And wherever you travel across the globe, there is a talk about Indian intelligence. Today, wherever you go, there is so much of respect that we get as an Indian. We are proud as Indians. We are proud that most of the software being developed in this country. If you look at Microsoft, Google, and Tesla, and so on, the research centers are now coming into India. Similarly, we have seen DURANC, two brilliant, bright scientists or an expertise on this subject came back to India, inspired by Atmanirbhar Bharat. They started the lab in Hyderabad, and they are becoming one of the fastest growing VMS company in India. I would like to welcome both the speakers, DP Srinivas and VK Vamshi Krishnan, to join this debate, presentation, discussions. So we will make this webinar very interactive, open in asking questions, and the purpose of this webinar, at the end of the day, you need to take the fantastic knowledge that we are going to present and see how it can be implemented in today's business. So feel free to ask questions in the Q&A box that you see below your screen. We would welcome as many questions that is possible to answer. And as we are spending valuable time, everyone is spending. So let's take a fantastic knowledge that we are going to learn today. I would like to briefly touch upon DURANC, which is founded in 2015 to create innovative video streaming and storage technology that offers client the ultimate in video surveillance functionality delivered seamlessly from the cloud. Everybody has a CCTV in their premises, whether it is a retail shop, whether it is a petrol bunk, everywhere you see surveillance. But how effectively that we are using it? Are we using 100% capability? So that is what today's this subject is. At DURANC, they help businesses and organizations maximize the potential of their surveillance cameras. To do this, they have built a secure, reliable, and cost-effective video platform that provides users with deeply intelligent analytics and insight in real time. DURANC also provides its vision solution that transforms the existing CCTV setup into smart surveillance solution through its AI-based video analytics. They are based in Nashville, USA. They have R&D center in Europe, Finland, and development global support in Hyderabad. Myself, Dominic, we have almost conducted 126 webinars since last 1.5 years, various subjects. I am from this fire and safety, we have done more than 80 to 90 webinars. This subject is also part of the security, so I wanted to cover as much as possible from the security angle also. So today we are more focused towards video analytics. So We continue to bring various subjects to the audience. We have almost 39,000 people who have attended so far. Today, we have excellent registration. We have almost 400 people have registered for this, and I'm expecting more people to join. With me, I have my colleague, DPS. DPS is again now becoming a face on video analytics. He's the co-founder and CRO at DURANC, a leading provider of video surveillance system analytics. He has been instrumental in shaping the product design and features and providing market insight. That's the role that DPS is playing. And with me, we have VK, Vamshi Krishnan. And he heads the operation at DURANC. Since last 8 years, he has overseen the development, implement, and support of the cutting-edge DURANC Vision Smart Surveillance solution. So these are the two wonderful speakers who are going to share and throw some light on how effectively do more surveillance, more than what you do. Do more with some, that's the tagline they have. So that is the introduction of our company. Let me unshare this. Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, and we are beginning this very interesting question. So while we begin, I would like to ask Mr. Srinivas, DPS, what exactly, we have seen so many video analytics company, in Europe and US and India, a few of them. We have one local company also. What is DURANC's difference as a solution provider in construction industry? Today, we are focusing purely on construction industry. So what is that you are trying to offer in a construction industry? Over to DPS.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dominic. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for the webinar. It's a wonderful thing to see so many participants from various segments of construction industry. Okay, going back to your question about the difference in the VSaaS and particularly in the construction segment, DURANC's philosophy is basically a open architecture platform that's on a SaaS model, run from the cloud, making easy for the customer to choose whatever the flexible time that they want to implement, both VMS to bring in the camera feeds and manage the cameras and every aspect of video management. Beyond that VMS, we have tightly integrated analytics, which are a list of analytics that are done on pure AI, not on motion, not on scaled down versions of AI, but they are very, very keenly developed, researched analytics based on AI. These two are tightly integrated. What I'm saying is, most of the time, if you have these two aspects of the solution, VMS and analytics are separate. It's very difficult to handhold or handshake and interact between these solutions. And then you have false alarms, you have problems of delay, real-time alerts will not happen. So there are many issues that come up. So right from the beginning, our philosophy is try to make the entire solution as 360 degrees, both VMS and analytics. Beyond that, as our tagline, like you said, do more with surveillance. Camera is our input, right? So when the camera is our input, it is like a human eye. What we get is the feed from the human eye, how the brain processes. The same analogy, we use it for our system. So we take the feed from the camera, any camera, be it your existing analog camera is fine for us. We take that and create business intelligence and situational awareness on top of that feed. So having said that, our platform is completely open architecture. Any use cases, any requirements beyond what that has been there in the portfolio of analytics, we can build and deliver and deploy. And we have done that in the past, and we want to do that as a service to the industry.
Quite interesting. What you said, two points which I captured here is the camera, the surveillance camera could be any technology, either it is analog or a IP camera, and it's an
Right.
open architecture. If it's an open protocol, you can integrate that with the software that you have developed specifically
Right.
for the construction industry.
Correct.
So
Correct.
there's no limitation in terms of brand of the camera or what technology it uses, isn't it?
Yes, and beyond that, anyway, Vamshi will cover a lot of these aspects in the presentation going forward. But we do have a upstream, downstream APIs for integrating any third-party solutions that are existing in the construction industry. We're pretty open to send our data, receive our data, and then process internally or process the video data and forward it back to a third-party system. That's the open platform that we want to create. Because if you see the next 5 to 10 years, there's a huge progress that is going to happen in the AI industry. And it's very dynamic. You don't want to create something which is a box or which is a package. And then you don't have an open opportunity to interact with the future forward-looking solutions. So that's why we want to be very flexible in terms of interacting with upward, downward stream solutions.
Having said that, what is the construction industry is one of the fastest growing industry, especially in India. There's so many infrastructure coming. Look at Saudi; they are building a city, one scientific in a tube. It's called NEO. If you look at the revolution that is happening in industry, what do you think? How do you see adoption of AI in construction? Is it as expected? And what is the future of projection in construction?
Vamshi, you want to take that question?
Yeah, basically, thank you, Dominic. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time and joining today. So we would like to try and make it worth your time. So to answer the question in terms of implementation of artificial intelligence technologies in the specifically to construction industry. Artificial intelligence has grown over a period of time. Artificial intelligence has many facets from data analysis. I think nowadays the rage is the OpenAI and ChatGPT, I guess, so which is into the language processing, which is basically words and language. Whereas the related field for video analysis, the field that we are in, is computer vision. And computer vision is what, let's say, for example, for language learning, what OpenAI is doing. Computer vision is has the capability to do that for the construction industry. And the adoption, as we have seen overall in the last couple of years, it has been slow to start with, and more so in the construction industry, typically because it's a little bit slower to adapt, as what we have seen compared to other industries in terms of new technology adoption. But still, there is a growing requirement and demand for implementation of computer vision solutions from using the existing surveillance infrastructure. Probably during my presentation, I'll cover a few points of what are the deterrents, why somebody is not willing to immediately jump in on the bandwagon of computer vision for practical usage, and how DURANC addresses those concerns is what we would be also covering during the presentation.
Wonderful. As a host, I myself have 10-15 questions to ask. Hope I will have the opportunity at the end of your presentation to really interrogate you and ask you this question that very specific to the construction industry. We have people from Cushman Wakefield, we have people from Colliers, we have people from Rustomji and SP Shapurji. I'm sure, like me, all of my participants also will be quite keen to ask those questions. So I would request all our participants to type your questions there in Q&A box. Avoid typing the question in the chat box because that will not be on record. So it's quite interesting. Let's move on and let's understand from VK how you are going to change the construction industries, the way we implement projects. So let's look forward, and I welcome both again DP and VK to share your presentation. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dominic. I hope the screen is visible now.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, this is the topic for today that we wanted to cover. We will start by looking at the industry as a quick, high-level overview. We all know that it's one of the most essential industries, the construction, because not only because of the contribution it has to the global GDP, the numbers speak for themselves. It's from a McKinsey report, basically, that it contributes to 13%, overall spend is 13% of the global GDP. And it's pretty huge, and it employs about 7% of the global workforce in the industry. However, we have seen that it has seen slow productivity growth as an industry overall in the last 20 years. The average growth has been much lesser compared to some of the other industries as it is. And a lot of projects causing getting into delays, etc., more than the anticipated time. These are some of the problems that we have seen in the industry. And some of the other issues are, this itself is a very accident or dangerous industry to work with. There has been a study in terms of what are the high-risk jobs, typically the most high-risk jobs, which may cause fatal injuries or non-fatal injuries. Based on that, there is a study that has been conducted, and construction is one of the topmost dangerous industries to work in. Yeah. But however, there are new solutions that are desperately needed and that are upcoming to improve the business and to ensure and protect worker health and safety. These developments in the field of artificial intelligence called computer vision, as I said. Computer vision relates to the processing of the images and understanding and making sense out of the video feed that comes, basically. So it helps mitigate these problems. And what is more, these are often easy to implement. It's not so difficult, and meaning construction companies can integrate these cutting-edge technologies into the workflows immediately, and then improve efficiency and also safety on the job site. We look at exactly how dangerous the industry itself is. There was a study, as I said, that was conducted. The source is the Business Insider. Out of 34 most dangerous jobs that they identified, about 13 of them relate to the construction field. If you see the top 10 dangerous jobs, out of them, the 3 of them are from the construction industry. And you can see the list of people, the type of jobs that are prone to accidents, causing fatal injuries or non-fatal injuries. So that's definitely a field that you need to worry about safety, that you need to worry about loss prevention, theft, injuries, ensuring the protection of both property as well as employees, etc., and workers. So just so in case you're curious, I've listed the 13 from the construction. Just in case if you're curious, the others are related to the logging, wood cutting, fishing or marine kind of jobs, aircraft pilots and workforce engineers there, and power lines and telecom sector, people working in that, transportation drivers, etc., relate to the other most dangerous jobs. Now, what we know is that CCTV earlier meant security. You have cameras, and the reason is to feel secure, and that's where it has been, and that's where it stopped. But not anymore. I mean, nowadays, surveillance or CCTV is not equated with security. It can do a lot more. And what it is synonymous now with is all these factors that are mentioned here. So the reason is that there are advancements in AI technologies, such as computer vision. And, it has been helpful in terms of ensuring you have a better risk management, providing real-time alerts, and also providing business intelligence in terms of how the work is progressing, how the resources are being utilized, whether it is optimal or not. You can conduct centralized inspections instead of having to go to every site individually. You can monitor the adherence to the standard operating procedures, such as wearing of a harness when working at heights, etc. So overall, there is a possibility now using the latest technologies to ensure that your surveillance deployments or surveillance investments that you have done can be used to provide all these advantages and features. Yeah, there has been sorry, which one? Yeah, so computer vision can help with, specifically related to the construction industry. These are some of the major aspects in which it will be very helpful or can provide you valuable insights. Is monitoring of your sites, especially remote monitoring, tracking of the progress as per the plan, as per the schedule, ensuring the safety of the workers, of the equipment, everything, and quality control as well, protecting your assets and ultimately ensuring productivity improvement. Yeah. So these are some of the aspects in which computer vision can specifically help the construction industry. But then, as we know, the adoption has been slow. It's not that many people are already using. Slowly, the start has been made, but it's a bit slow. So typical causes of why the adoption is actually slow. We will look at some of those barriers to adoption. So if this was the study, the report by the IFSEC for 2022, identifying with the respondents what they see as the barriers in implementing artificial intelligence in their surveillance. Yeah. So for 47% of the respondents, which is quite a big number, mentioned the upfront costs as one of the major factors or the barrier for starting the implementation of AI. Then followed by a second major respondent was the accuracy of the analytics of the alarms that you get or the triggers that are generated. If there are any false alarms or false positives or false negative alerts, for example, so you lose the interest, like the old story that goes, right? You have the father-son story, that is, I think we all of us probably would have heard when we were young. You have a false positive, a false alarm, then you ignore that after a while, and you don't even care for, and you miss the actual events when they happen. So the accuracy is pretty important. That has been a concern. Then there is a concern around upgrade requirements for the existing infrastructure, whether you would need to upgrade any existing equipment, cameras, networks, etc. So that has been the third biggest concern that people had, and so on. So we will see how our solution addresses these concerns and enables the adoption for quicker adoption. Keep it simple. Most of the factors are addressed by the DURANC solution. There is no upfront cost. I think DP has touched on that point, saying that it's basically it's a VSaaS model that's provided. So it's a pay-as-you-go kind of a model. There is no upfront cost that is required for computer vision implementations, and you can. It's all based on computer vision, as he was mentioning also, that there is no motion-based analysis or pixel-based analysis, heuristic analysis. It's all based on the computer vision completely using the latest GPU architectures and technologies. So the concern around false positives, etc., goes down completely, and it is also quite customizable to each site's environment, because not everything is the same. One size does not fit all. Not all sites are same. It is different, and it is possible to customize even at the time of deployment the analytics that are getting configured with the site-specific requirements. So that's where that concern gets addressed automatically. Then there is no camera upgrade requirement. So any type of a camera that you already have can be used both for the video management system, which is basically recording and evidence management, as well as the analytics also. So whatever makes and models of cameras that are there out on the field today, all of them can be integrated with the DURANC solution and provide video analytics and useful insights on top of them. You also have the flexibility to redefine and reconfigure analytics on the same cameras, because the construction environments are dynamic. It's not like a fixed and one-time cost you incur and then you put up everything and that's it. Because these are dynamic, they keep changing, there are variables, and once the project is finished, we go to the next project. It is possible to reuse the cameras, reuse the software, the analytics. You can run different things on different cameras, as we would probably explain in the upcoming slides. Different analytics can be deployed to run on different cameras at the same time. You can run multiple analytics on the same camera as well. So there is a lot of flexibility that's provided by the system to ensure that you have the maximum benefit out of the solution. There is no requirement of any upskilling of the employees, because it's the UI is pretty simple and straightforward for anybody to use. There is no additional software that is required to use DURANC platform. All you require is just the browser. You have a credential, you can log in, you can configure the analytic, you can see the alerts, you can take action on those alerts. You can monitor live, or you can specifically look for search for any specific recording of a site, of a specific camera for a date and time. All of that is done through the simple browser interface. So not high technical skills are required for the use of the system. And that's how we ensure there is a proper return of investment on these implementations. So these concerns or the barriers definitely are going away slowly as the industry progresses, and also with the solutions and the options that DURANC provides. Overall, the value that's created with the solution is basically through the use of artificial intelligence, as I said, computer vision. So we take the feed that's coming from cameras, multiple cameras, utilize the artificial intelligence technologies for on top of the feed that comes in on the live feed, provide real-time notifications as well as automated reports. For further analysis, you can do a trend analysis of all the incidents that have been triggered. You can look at the near miss incidents, and it's not only that in some incident happens and you look at the recording and try to identify the cause. What is important is how many of those incidents which have not happened that you can track. That's how you can actually get a rating of the safety procedures or the SOP adherence that you have on the site. As long as you can track that, that's where you can actually improve the processes, not looking at incident only after it happens. So it gives you the idea of all the near miss incidents which could have caused an incident. So those are the things that a system tries to analyze and give you upfront information. So we look at the possibility of creating the change. What are the processes that are working correctly, and what is it that probably warrants a change? And you can focus on making those decisions by the quantitative data, because now you can see there is eyes on the ground through the surveillance and computer vision. So you have that eyes on the ground, and then you have the quantitative data, not just the qualitative data, to be able to take those decisions. So ultimately, the goal is to ensure that you use the visual data to boost taking more informed business decisions. So how does DURANC help? I will probably take a couple of minutes to just explain the solution. And these are any solution requires a strong foundation, like in construction. The foundation for this solution that we have built is based on these 4 pillars, which is to be device and network agnostic. Any maker model of camera, any existing system, we should be able to connect to the platform, and then use any type of a network, because most of the construction sites may or may not have a fixed line connectivity. You should be able to take that feed or process that through any type of a network that you may have at the site. That's the first aspect of it. The second be providing the flexibility and the scalability to any number of sites and any type of cameras that you have, any number of locations. and also giving that flexibility to say what analytic will be deployed or configured on what type of cameras, because now there is no requirement of specialized cameras for specialized analytics, whether you are doing license plate detection automatic, or whether you are doing the safety kit, PPE, whether somebody is wearing the PPE kit or not. Those things can be done with the regular camera. You don't need specialized cameras for that. And that's the flexibility it automatically offers, the scalability there. Security is inbuilt in the platform. It's end-to-end encrypted. For centralized monitoring, you have create any number of users that you want to create in the system, give them specific accesses for specific locations, specific sites. What is more, since it's a centralized solution, you can actually create logical groupings of cameras from across different locations. Like all the entry-exit cameras can be made as one group. All the storage yards can be made as one group. All the areas, different type of areas or locations from different sites can be grouped together, and you can watch the interested points at the same time on the same screen. And the last is the computer vision based analytics that are part of the solution based on computer vision and machine learning neural networks technologies that you can apply on any camera, and multiple triggers can be generated on the camera. You can decide who needs to see what kind of notifications. If it's a security related event, like an intrusion that's detected during the night, it could go to the security officer in charge at that time. If it's related to a safety aspect or a quality aspect, it can go to the quality manager or the site in charge at that time. So it depends on how you can define what analytics are needed, what triggers are required on what cameras, and who should receive notifications, and what is the mode of receiving those notifications as well. So you may choose, there are multiple options. You can choose to receive via email, SMS, text messages, WhatsApp integration, or push notifications. There are multiple modes, and you can choose what is the mode that is most suited to receive those notifications. And last but not least, the APIs that allow you to integrate with external systems. So we have well-defined push and pull APIs, both of them. Whenever an event is triggered, you can send it to an external system through a post message, which could be a BIM, for example. In the construction scenario, we send that information to the BIM, which can compare and process, monitor the progress, etc. Some of the key aspects of the solution that we probably touched upon are: there is no camera lock-in, it's completely secure, very easy to use and access, because that determines the success of any project that you undertake. Unless the users are adept, users are able to use the system easily, nothing will move forward and no project will be a success. We have that's the flexibility it offers in terms of the users. You can create the users as needed and give them access to specific sites, specific cameras, etc. Keeps monitoring the health of these cameras on all the devices that are connected as well, whether all the cameras are up and running or not, whether they are recording or not. And these recordings, it's easy to see or locate for a specific time period, for a specific site, etc. We have the possibility to create a time-lapse video to ensure to see the progress of the work over a period of time. You can quickly review that through the time-lapse video, helps in progress or monitoring. And also the external views possibility. There is a option in the solution where you can create a link that you can share with people who are probably, when you're doing a project review meeting, you can create a link and share it with the participants, and they can have a look at it, look at the site, live views before the meeting, and they can make an effective use of it during the meeting. Or you could give it to the customer. If there is a PMC company that's working on that, the construction company, they can give it to the customer to watch live. And the advantage with the platform is no matter how many people are watching the same camera at the same time, only one feed is taken from the source. So it optimizes the utilization of the resources at the location, because at the end location, the resources are scarce and limited in terms of whether it is bandwidth, network connectivity, etc. So it makes effective use of it. Only one stream comes to the platform, and all the users get distributed through that in a multicast type of a mode. So from a computer vision perspective, so as I said, the solution is an integrated video management and video analytics solution. So all the analytics are integrated into the platform. They become, when you have access to the platform, you will be able to apply any of the analytics. All of these analytics are based on computer vision techniques using the GPU architectures for processing. There is actually quite a big difference in using the GPU analytics versus the CPU analytics. The CPU analytics that you see typically deployed on the cameras, the edge itself, are on local edge devices. The accuracy levels will be much lower on a CPU-based analysis, whether it is processing speed or whether it is the accuracy. Both of them will be much lower compared to processing the live feed on GPUs. So all the analytics that DURANC provides are based on the GPU architectures. And they're not boxed analytics, they're not fixed. They are basically quite flexible in terms of the ability to modify or configure based on the site-specific conditions that you can reconfigure. Quite extensible as well in terms of the ability to define detection of custom objects or custom anomalies that can be trained to detect. We've done, for example, volumetric analysis as well to see the available space and how many specific boxes are inside already, what is the space left, etc. for an automobile measure that is done. And we spoke about APIs. It can detect easily anomalies and give you the reports in terms of how frequently a particular event has been triggered over a period of time, what are the typical times during which those events are getting triggered, etc. It gives you a complete control over how things are progressing at the site. As DURANC, we serve multiple industries, multiple verticals across. But anyway, we are today, let's focus on the construction. And as we spoke, these are the major areas that we help with in the construction industry. Overall, computer vision has the potential to transform the construction industry by providing real-time information and enabling the construction managers to make data-driven decisions. That's the goal of providing these solutions. All this leading to increased efficiency, improved safety and better quality in the projects. That's the ultimate goal of providing these solutions. Yeah. So in the first point, in terms of monitoring of multiple sites, the system is most suited to provide remote inspections. The source of these feeds can come from any type of camera. It could be regular cameras, bullet, fixed cameras mounted on a crane, which gives you an overview of the entire site. Cameras mounted on a helmet, which is streaming live so that you have eyes on the ground when you're reviewing the progress. It could be solar powered cameras with Wi-Fi, so it's easy to deploy and remove it and then deploy at a different location on the same site or on a different site. So all of these, any of these can provide the input, the video source input for the system. All of that is recorded and kept for evidence management, as well as analyzed and providing business intelligence. So multiple sources from multiple locations can come to the platform. You can have a centralized view either in your command center, which you can watch all sites together, or your mobile device today is your command center. You log in on your mobile, and you will have access to all of this information right on the mobile device itself. You don't even need to have a specific command center as well. And it's completely user-based access control. So depending on the user that's logged in, he will have access to only those specific cameras or only specific features that he would have access to specifically. And you can decide, in terms of storage, how many days of storage that's required for each camera. You have that flexibility to store. And with the shareable links that you share with your customers, or internal customers or external customers, when you share the live view, it's possible. You don't have to worry about not having enough bandwidth at the site, because now only one feed is taken from the system, and it utilizes, it can share with all the hundreds of people or thousands of people as well. So would you like to add any other points on this specific aspect?
There is a couple of use cases that we had from the construction industry, like particularly on the safety. If you look at the safety-based analytics that are running on certain feeds, there is a lot of changes in the environment. Like say, if we put a camera on the crane is actually moving from one side to the other side. And while it is looking downward, it's automatically creating a zone where if the material is being shifted, there is a possibility of falling that material. If somebody is in that zone while this is moving, automatically the camera feed is taken, the person is identified, and automatically the alarm is actually switched on, so that they know that there is crane above and they need to move to the safety side. All these are custom requirements, particularly in the construction area. Like if you see on the left side, there is one large pit, and the proximity of the person is not supposed to be close to the pit. And the project manager can define what is the area that people should not move while the material is being dumping into the pit. They can define it over in a few minutes, and then the solution will start tracking. If anybody comes close to that, the alerts are created, alarms are raised. All those things can be done in a dynamic fashion. It is not like a lot of things need to be done before that need to be deployed or need to be configured.
Yeah, and detection of following up for standard operating procedures, whether people are wearing the helmets, etc. All of that are tracked as well from a safety perspective. Yeah, and as I said, the important aspect is not just the incident, but the near miss incidents. All of these, when he's very close and there is a danger, you automatically track. But what if he is not that point of triggering an event, but very close to that? So the more that we monitor such aspects, that's when we can take appropriate actions and better procedures to follow. The solution can also be used in terms of tracking the progress of the project, not only from a safety perspective, but tracking of the progress with multiple options by using time-lapse videos that give you that feature, or even by integrating with the BIM system. So the video images are taken from a period of time, and then that can be integrated with the BIM and for comparison purposes and see the progress, where it is lacking, etc. With computer vision, the advantage is that we can train the system to identify and classify different elements in the construction industry, such as detection of or identification of walls, roofs, windows, doors, and flooring, etc. So once the system is trained to detect that detection of these, classify these objects, it's easy to compare. Like for example, in this image, as you see, as the tiles are getting laid in an indoor scenario, it can see how far the tiles are laid and what is the space that is still pending, kind of a thing. So it's easy to use computer vision to train for detection of specific objects and classifications, and then monitor the progress. And especially when you use it together with the building information system, the BIM tools, then you can see real-time progress versus the existing BIM data, and then quantify for reports. The next aspect is the quality control aspect. I think now there are multiple ways in which the computer vision technology is useful in monitoring the quality aspect. Process compliance is one of them, like ensuring whether the people are wearing the harness or not, whether any objects or load is being moved in the proper way or in an improper way, such as this. Whether this quality control in terms of once we train the system to detect the flooring, for example, it can detect on the floor, or it can detect on the walls if there are any cracks or leakages, etc. It can also detect the holes, nuts presence, if there is any rusted nuts, etc. All of that can be detected in a quality compliance perspective. So would you like to take up on the asset protection as well?
Yeah, go ahead, Vamshi.
Yeah. So basically, one way is in terms of asset protection. It involves ensuring the access to the right people, protecting the premises itself as a whole. Not all construction sites may have a fence, for example. You can create a virtual perimeter with the AI, and anytime anybody crosses that or enters into the area, it can detect and throw you immediate notifications. It can even integrate with relay devices such as sounding of a hooter, for example. When that happens, immediately you can sound a hooter to alert the local team there, or a person, a local security guard, for example. So it can monitor valuable material or equipment that should not be moved from a specific location through an object watch kind of an analytic. So if that is moved from that location, you automatically get a notification. If a fence is broken, for example, if you have a fence, that can be triggered as an alert. Moreover, it can also, once we train the system to detect and recognize the objects in the construction field, such as the crane or a bulldozer, the system can track also the movement of those equipments and then you can optimize the utilization. It can track the movement and utilization, so you can optimize that and define, see the downtimes, or minimize the downtimes. And all of that we spoke about works towards improvement of the productivity and efficiency in the overall project. Because the construction is heavily dependent on human resources and human operated machines, and basically that's the majority, the dependency is there. So productive utilization of the resources, of the human resources and the machinery operated by the humans, is a major aspect or a major point of concern for construction. And so the advancement in the vision-based techniques promotes the remote monitoring of resources, and we observe that once you have a remote monitoring possibility, the productivity is typically tend to improve automatically by about 50% from a study. So once people know that you are monitored remotely, automatically the productivity improves. More than that, the computer vision would also help in terms of identifying the utilization, identifying the people are on the site, how many people are on site on a specific day, for example. I detect the number of people, identify and track the progress of it, number of people. So all of that immediately automatically improves the productivity in the overall project. So when we look at the possibilities and how the DURANC solution can address the points, when we see it requires a change in terms of thought process, in terms of implementation, and we can look at the model that was developed by Jeff Hyatt, the ADKAR model, in terms of how that can be used in the construction monitoring scenario to deploy computer vision techniques. The first is the awareness of the technologies, of the current solutions that are available in the market, the awareness of the need to change or need to implement such technologies and the possibilities of implementation. The second is the desire to implement such technologies and the desire to implement and change the status quo, deploy the latest technologies. So awareness is one aspect of it. Just awareness will not get us anywhere. We need to have the desire to change, desire to implement. That needs to come as well. And then with the desire, both of them are not sufficient, obviously. We need to have the knowledge of the current processes, current environment, and the technologies as well. Prepare for the implementation. Then commit the required resources, because it's not just the one way. It's not a boxed analytics. It's not a product that fits everybody. It's not a ready-made garment that I buy and then wear. So we will need to tailor it to the specific requirements of each site sometimes, each customer or each site sometimes. So it needs resources on both ends, both from the provider perspective as well as from the customer, which is you, the end customer perspective, to commit the resources that are required to see the implementation through. And then finally, reevaluate the progress, continuously monitor, continuously upgrade the systems that are required, add the analytics. For example, today we detect a few of the aspects. Tomorrow we have the need to detect more objects, and then we have the possibilities as the technology improves. So we constantly evaluate and maintain the systems. So it requires, and it's a journey. Implementation of a computer vision technologies is a journey, and that needs resources and commitment from both sides. And that's where DURANC works with you as a partner, not as just another vendor, or with all the solutions that come from starting from the proactive notifications to providing the flexibility of using the analytics, reusing the analytics and cameras, to providing the proper incident management system wherein you don't need to monitor all the cameras all the time. Just whenever an incident is triggered, you can see that overall from the perspective and monitor only incident management. And so that's how we work as a technology partner hand in hand to ensure that overall project becomes a success. Yeah. With that, I would probably close the presentation side of it, and then we can have a discussion around what we spoke about and any questions.
Thank you, Vamshi. Wonderful insight. Now, very specific to the construction related questions. I'll just try to cover a few questions that has come already in the Q&A box. I would urge all the panelists just to put your questions and doubts on this question answer, so we'll take it up. So Sharad Mathur is asking, can you elaborate some example or video recording? Maybe
yeah.
you must be asking about the cloud. How do you record in the cloud?
So examples, I think probably we can cover a few more in terms of how the solution can be used for safety monitoring. We spoke about a few of the slides in terms of ensuring people are wearing the required safety gear, for example, or if there is people or workers getting close to a crane that is lifting a load or transporting a load, then you can get an alarm, etc. So other recordings, etc., we will share offline further to the meeting. We will send across or have a further discussion with you on that.
Okay, Sharad, Mr. Vamshi will write to you with more detail. So Kailash Prasad is asking, how can we proceed with existing analog camera? There are a lot of constructions happening in the last, say, 2-3 years. They already have a. So how do you proceed with the existing analog camera installed at construction sites?
Yeah, so basically, as we were talking, both analog and IP cameras can be connected to the platform. If they're analog cameras, we just need the feed from the camera. We do not depend on any feature or functionality of the camera itself to run the analytics or to provide storage of the recordings, etc. All we require is the video feed, and the camera which is connected to the DVR. We take the RTSP stream from the DVR, and once the feed is in the platform, we run the analytics on top of that as well.
So Kailash is right. Today, most of the project, they install CCTV only for the purpose of security or a psychological fear to put on the outsider or inside the worker that someone is watching. So what we are trying to do today is beyond just a security, or beyond just watching, or beyond just sitting in front of the monitor and see what's happening. So he's saying, how can we enhance the purpose of security camera beyond security, like he's saying, for like watching on the steel and gate and a temporary boundary. So can we enhance the existing CCTV in the construction site beyond just security? That's what I know. You covered most of that, but just that one line answer.
Pretty much, yes, Dominic. We want to protect the investment that is done by the customer for the existing infrastructure. The cameras are the eyes on the ground. We don't want them to be changed like every 3 months, 4 months, or frequency. So whatever that is available, we work with them. But having said that, sometimes if there is high-end analytics that we need to run, we need to caution like number plate detection. Say, for example, at the entrance. If you have a top mount camera, which is a very old analog camera, probably in the nighttime, we won't be able to get the feed to strip out the number plate. So that's where we suggest the customer to go for a different model of a camera. So at certain points that we do work with the customers to do a little bit of modifications. Not only that, if the cameras are limited, if the view and the field of view is not proper, then we request them to replace them or move it to the other side or add more cameras for the purpose of what they want. Because if you want to mount a camera on the crane which is 80 meters above, you don't want to do a low-end camera where you cannot see all the way down. You need a camera which is perfectly zoomable, PTZ kind of a camera, right? So that recommendations we give, this is the collaboration which Vamshi was talking about. Like, we need to work together. The end purpose is, the goal is to track the progress, to make the safe environment, all these things to do, we need to have that interaction between both the teams.
So what you mean to say is the camera is not just being just a security. It can be a project reporting, such as you say, progress today at the site. Yeah. How many people, how many workers were attending, and what is their productivity, the workers' productivity, and also you can say you can track the incident that has been reported for maybe in a week's time, because it's all storing in the cloud. I'll go to John Oliver. A very, very important question is asking: is that privacy does not consider a hindrance or a barrier in implementation of various surveillance system in projects?
So let me briefly take it, and after that, Vamshi can add more technical points on top of it. There's two aspects of it. If the privacy is the personal privacy, right? The workers working there, they are all being monitored even today, right? So the only thing that we're adding is the safety aspects of it, alerts that that they are going to get some material moved around on top of their heads, so that they need to move away from the location. Those things are basically already there, which we protect, and the content of the video's data is being end-to-end encrypted from the site to the cloud, and that is protected even on the cloud, even on the rest. Okay, so that aspect is already taken care of. Vamshi, you can add up on the security of the data.
Yeah. So basically, one aspect of encryption end to end, both in transit and at rest, and the second, as a privacy concern, is we are not detecting unless you want a facial recognition. For example, we are not doing anything specific to an individual. We don't identify individual recognizable parameters, right? Identifiable parameters of a person. It's whether it is a person, as a worker. It could be Vamsi, it could be DP, it could be anybody. We're not identifying specifically unless you want a facial recognition. So privacy concerns are not there from that standpoint, because all we care for is whether any worker is getting close to a dangerous area, etc. Same thing, as an example. So that's how we see no privacy issues or concerns around that.
But if a customer would like to have, like, some of the cases are there where they want to track the construction workers on a FR based, facial recognition based. Particularly, one reason they don't want a multiple, one person as added as attendance coming as more than one person, right? So what they want is unique faces while they're coming inside the site. They want to see all the unique faces and then count the workers. That's what is the requirement. So there we take all the unique faces and say there are like 820 people came inside to the facility, and then the data is not stored or anything. It is just basically for the sake of numbering. But beyond that, if you want to keep the data, if you want to do the facial recognition, we have all those analytics readily available in the system.
So you mean to say it's well secured. There is no breach of security data.
Absolutely.
So Mure Jaideep Reddy asking two questions. Is GPU analytics not linked with internet security, internet connectivity? That's point number one. Point number two, are there any existing algorithm for asset protection? Any use case? One which comes instantly is predicting maintenance before the breakdown. I think Vamshi, over to you.
The GPU analytics, I'll answer the first question. Basically, analytics, as I said, are run on GPU, and as you rightly asked, analysis requires GPUs, and there are two modes in which we work. We have flexible deployment models. One deployment model is pure cloud model, in which case the feed gets to the cloud and we analyze it on the GPU servers on the cloud and give you the event triggers. The second model, as the unique hybrid model that we have, allows for processing of the feeds locally in the local GPU system at the site, and only the event metadata gets to the cloud. So you're not always taking the entire video data to the cloud. So the hybrid model helps in terms of analyzing locally and then providing the metadata to the cloud so that you can have access from anywhere, anytime. And the second part of the question was in terms of the asset protection, right? So asset protection is in multiple angles. One is to ensure the assets do not leave the premises, as one example. And the second, when you talk specifically about maintenance and the breakdown, it is possible to detect or train the system to see the utilization of it, for example. So how much of the, let's say you have a schedule of maintenance of every 1,000 hours. After that, you need to have a maintenance. So the system can track the hours of usage, and once it gets closer to the hours of usage requiring maintenance, it can trigger an event as a possibility. So there are ways in which that is possible, and those are the use cases we can discuss further offline if any other questions.
And also, you can also get an alert if the camera is not functioning, isn't it?
Right. So I just want to add one more thing to Mr. Jaydeep. If there is any specific use case which is to your business requirement, we are very flexible to build that and deploy it for you. So, we have done those custom developments, and it's a very short cycle of development that we do and deploy. So anything is there, we can discuss offline.
Oh, Vinay is asking, how do you integrate BIM? BIM integration can be done.
So let me take it. Basically, the BIM integration, our role is basically giving the data, metadata from the video feed as an API to the BIM. And the receiving system is whatever that they want to use it for the purpose, they can use it. Whether you want pictures, you want, any kind of data taken out of the video. Through an analytic that can be processed and pushed to the BIM system. So there are a lot of requests coming in that direction. So we are actually working on those. Any specific use cases, we are still open to the deployment.
Okay. Actually, Mahesh Deshmukh is asking. My question is, during emergency, how the system works. So you need to elaborate that question. What do you mean emergency? What do you mean by emergency? Is it a fire emergency or earthquake, or what kind of emergency that you expect the system to work? So if you can elaborate, that will be happy. So Vijay Kumar, do you have AI for property management? Do you have AI for property management, Vamshi?
Yeah, definitely, yes. So some of these aspects are similar, like how we have done here. Property management is you're taking to the next step once the construction is over, managing of the facilities, for example. So there are quite a few analytics that are in place that are used, starting from monitoring or taking the attendance of all the workers, different types of workers, plumbers, electricians, gardeners, etc., all of that through facial recognition, counting of their attendance, to property protection from a perimeter protection standpoint, utilization of resources standpoint. For example, I don't know from which background the question is coming from. If it is a residential gated community type of a project, for example, whether people are loitering around children's play areas during late hours, for example, or those kind of things can come up. So depending on the type of requirement, there are different use cases that are used.
And we do have integrations with boom barriers, turnstiles, and all those things. Any kind of a turnstile, we can integrate with the facial recognition, and those facial recognition management of the teams, management of those faces can be done by the concerned administrator, including allowing of the vehicles. And we have also done one unique custom use case for one of the SEZ, where when the vehicle comes, we recognize the number plate, but that's not all. What they want to do is they want to also recognize the driver's face. So if the both matches together, then only we need to open the boom barrier through relay, which we have done that customization for them.
I think we'll get back to Vijay Kumar. I think Vamshikan,
Yes.
I think he's talking about a very large complex where hazardous areas and where children need not go there, or a security person need not go there. I think it's a good case that which you can take up with him directly later. So Benjamin, TC Benjamin is asking just an observation from a civic chief, former civic chief. The quality of roads depends on the correct implementation of design parameters. So correct use of ingredients like many other aspects that come in. Have you thought of extending an application for construction, like infrastructure construction, such as roads, dam? It could be anything. So, can we also do that for urban, facility?
Mr. Benjamin, it's a very good question. Right now, it is still evolving in terms of how it can be used for the purpose. It's a very unique thought that you got. Absolutely, it is a wonderful thought. The thing is, like, we have done mounting of cameras on the road laying machines to see how many hours of these being done. For the remote monitoring, that's a pure on VMS side of it. But for the analytics, we also did for the road laying from the remote locations where the vehicles are stopped, not moving, not working. Those alerts we have sent to their command control. So there are requests coming through, but the asphalt or how much is the material being used. All these things need to be worked out in a different way. We are a vision-based solution. What we see is what we analyze. We can take IoT information and then do comparative analysis with our video, but primarily we are a video surveillance company and video analytics company. So our primary goal is taking the video and processing it and then giving desired output to to the required end customer.
Wonderful. So Denzel, we'll come back to your questions. You have 2 questions, very specific to that. 3 questions basically. So Denzel from Oman is asking 2 questions. So we'll get back to you soon by Vamshi, and also I would like to talk to you directly.
Can we have the email ID or contact?
Yeah, I have Denzel's.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Ajay is asking, relevant to current topic, any solution for project monitoring using 3D modeling?
So we take, like I said, we take the video feed, right? There are certain cameras which are 3D cameras, and also there are depth cameras now available in the market. So if there is any specific requirement of taking this depth information and then giving volumetric analysis, absolutely we can do that algorithm calculation. We have done this for multiple different requirements, not exactly in the construction. I would not say in the construction. We have done depth analysis of the space available in the truck, depth analysis of the space available in the warehouses. So those kind of specific requirements we have done. If you have any specific thing to discuss, we are open to do that development. And there are new input devices, I should say, because some of them are not purely cameras, some of them are lidar based, some of them are depth cameras, which will give the 3D grid. Those inputs can be taken and then we can analyze and then give the input back, the output back to you.
So Ajay Bagar is asking, very interesting, that even I am quite keen. Can the analytics can also identify fire incident, like you have welders, in the construction site, or electrical. So if there's a fire, what is the welding parameter, the characteristic of the fire which comes out from the welding? I believe, yes, it can identify, but I would like to hear from the mouth of Mr. VK. Let's see whether you are going to answer, yes, we can. Because this is quite interesting for my client or my participant.
Yes, it is definitely possible to do that. And we can integrate fire detection and smoke detection. But smoke detection, practically there are challenges in the construction site.
One second. We also have our Maharashtra Director, Fire Chief, also attending, Santosh Wari. So there are a few other chief of fire from various oil and gas and all there. So what Vamshi is saying to my friends here, it can detect smoke if the camera has a quality and camera is positioned rightly. It can detect the smoke that is coming in and the fire it can. So it's a wonderful news for all of us from the fire field and fire experts. Not only you have a detector and firefighting, yes, to an extent, not 100%, to an extent, you can, ask the camera, the VMS to learn about the fire and the smoke spread, that how is it spreading, what volume also, maybe it is possible. That's how the technology moving. I'm very happy that Vamshi had said yes. So I was a bit in the corner that he may say no. So, but you said yes. But this is a very big industry. Like if every hotel have a huge cameras in every corridor. So if the fire is spreading to a corner and if the camera can detect much earlier than the smoke detector, which is already there, it's a huge potential for company like DURANC to develop specifically for detection of the smoke and the heat, the fire. It is a huge. I'm sure my friends in this forum will be quite happy to hear this. So moving forward to Rajesh Sharma, we should be able to use thermal imaging. We should be able to use thermal imaging camera to know about any heating of cables or electrical equipment to use early warning. R.C. Sharma, R.C. Sharma is our former director of Delhi Chief and the man who fought the Upa cinema, and now it is coming as a Netflix series somewhere, I don't know which. So he played a very important role in rescuing a lot of lives and also put himself in high danger while rescuing. So his question is relevant. Like if there is a thermal camera is already existing, can we take the input of that to determine this as an early warning system?
Absolutely, sir. I think that's a good question, and since it is a thermal camera, it's giving thermal data output. We can take that and then create alerts and then give proactive real-time notifications. Not only that, earlier question that was there, like how we can use the regular cameras to do the smoke detection. It's like AI is always a study. AI is always a learning process. So like Vamshi said, we can train the system, but there are multiple characters to the fire, multiple characters to the smoke, the way that it looks, the way it actually, transforms.
Yes.
So it's a very complex thing, but we do have a lot of opportunity in-house development team where we do a lot of system training and ML. We have done a lot of research on that. We have done, certain extent of development, but we are not a primary solution to identify the fire or smoke to detect. But we do have, that capability to do. So we are kind of like a secondary solution, along with the other fire deterrents and other fire, detection system. Along with that, we can coexist. But going back to Mr. Sharma sir's question, we can definitely take that thermal data and then, confirm and inform when the heating is happening beyond certain extent that it's not desired.
Lakshmi, can you put up Vamshi's and Srini's email ID on the chat box? People can, record their mail ID, because few of them are asking, can you tell us, which are the site that they have done similar projects or, some demo there. So they can write one-on-one. So please mention the email ID of both Srini and this thing. It will help them. So Mahesh, come back to the answer. This is a very dangerous hazard. So he's saying the response earlier asked, what is the emergency? So dangerous hazards. So can we monitor that and give an alert well in advance? What can happen? Predict basically. So an answer to this, Vamshi?
Yeah, I guess I think Mr. Mahesh was referring to usage of mobile phones during the work, as it is a hazard and it needs to be identified. I guess that's what it relates to. Yes, it is possible to detect, but then we need to be aware of the limitations, especially on the construction site and the scenario, whether how much of the visibility is there, what type of quality of the image or the resolution of the image is coming. Based on those limitations or parameters.
No, he may not be talking about construction. It could be a oil storage area where people not supposed to carry the mobile.
Absolutely.
Can the camera detect and tell there is somebody is crossing the limit?
Yeah. If somebody is holding a mobile phone that is visible to the camera, we can detect it and then notify and then create a real-time alert. And that alert can go to the supervisor or whoever that is there on the shop floor. That can be done.
So Kailash, again, last question: is it possible to calculate the progress of work at the construction site?
That's a question that we need to work together and then see what is the progress. Are you looking at the slabs that is being done from outside, or what is the kind of work that is there? That need to be understood as a scope, and then we can provide that.
So basically, DURANC can work with the client and understand their requirement, what kind of progress, as you said, site progress. So what exactly they are like to measure. So you can develop the AI or the software based on the customer. That's quite important because we have seen many companies in the VMS packaged software. They can't do anything more than what is already developed. So we can't. So what are you saying as a DURANC? You can sit with the client and understand what scope that they are expecting to develop further on what you already have. So that's a good news, happy news to hear that you could interact with the customer and develop for case to case or a client to client requirement. That's very interesting. Thankal Naresh is asking, can you please explain how we control waste management during the construction? And is there any legal procedures?
I think we need to understand a little bit more of that. Probably one-to-one interaction with Thankal, Ms. Naresh. I think we can take it offline and then have a detailed discussion on it.
Okay, multi-elevation working alert. Could you, Ajay Pagara is asking multi-elevation working alert. What is that? I couldn't get that question. So hope are you able to understand the question?
I think we need a little bit more elaboration on that.
Okay, so progress means column height cascade can be calculated in this software. So you're asking progress, the columns, and I think that's easy.
We also do a pseudo 3D kind of a analysis for the volumetric. Those things can be deployed. Those things can be done. But the position of the camera and all those things we need to discuss with the customer. And what is the size of the floor? What is the size of this? We need to have a little bit of more understanding of that, and then we can do that.
I think we have covered, and most of the question and the answer is being tagged by Vamshi. But as I say, what VMS can do, in short, summarizing, it can site monitoring and surveillance, theft preventions, incident detection, hazardous such as fire. If there's a smoke that has been generated at the site, it can detect much earlier, though it is open site. Where in the open site we do not have a technology in the detection system that there is a fire, but through video imaging or a thermal, we can identify there is potential fire that can spread. So you can actually, it's a wonderful feature. You can, at the inception of fire, you can control that. So incident detection, improved site security, increased efficiency. These are something that we are able to summarize that what we covered today. Increased efficiency, worker safety, site progress tracking. So very, I'm really amazed to see how AI, by using simple camera, you can, complement the progress of the construction site. And I could be sitting anywhere, any part of the world, but I can get the report. I can specific site progress I can get. So today people have to send people to go check the number of workers at the site. How many are wearing helmet? You need to have one supervisor just to monitor the workers' safety and efficiency. So all this, if I'm sitting somewhere, project is happening in Dubai, I'm sitting in India, and I could get an alert. It's wonderful. So AI has gone beyond our imagination. That's what DURANC says. Do more with surveillance. Don't just sit. Okay, it's a security device. I am going to say it's much more than that. I would expect everyone, all my friends in this, continue your dialogue with DURANC. The chiefs are sitting, Vamshi Krishna and DP Srinivas. Interact. There are many opportunities that you can discover through them. So hopefully we have covered most of the subject. We have the next webinar. DURANC is talking about beyond just surveillance, business analytics. So very interesting subject. What is business analytics? Using the standard camera. How are you improving efficiency in your stores, the security of the stores, how many people are coming, footfall. So there's so many that you can take the data out of that camera and present it to the owners or the manager of the stores. So you can have 100 stores across the country, and you can at a central location, you can monitor and what's happening, what is the footfall, many things. So the next webinar will be quite interesting. Those who are there, please invite your friends. So it is beyond just surveillance, business analytics. So we are scheduling on March 4th at 11 a.m. same time. It will be a wonderful session, I can assure you. Vamshi is very interactive presentation. Thank you, Vamshi. Thank you, Srini, for spending. I think we both are you both are in Hyderabad. I'm in Bangalore. My colleague, I want to thank my colleague Lakshmi and also Kirtana from DURANC for trying to promote this webinar in various social medias, and we have 400 plus audience today listening to this. And I would say we are just scratching the surface. There's much more that we can do. And kindly interact with the DURANC team. I want to thank everyone who participated. Have a lovely evening with your family. Stay safe. Look forward to see you again. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.